So let's talk about a problem every gamer has but doesn't really like to admit. The gaming backlog. You know, that ever-growing library of games that you'd swore you'd get to, but somehow you end up playing Skyrim again. When I was a kid, a backlog wasn't even a concept. You had what? 2 games? Maybe 3? You played these games until the disk was scratched beyond recognition or your save file mysteriously disappeared. But now, with Steam sales, subscription services, and these free Epic Games Store handouts, we're drowning in games. And the weird part is, instead of feeling excited, it's overwhelming. I mean, think about it, how did something as simple as playing a game turn into a source of stress? Here's the deal, the idea of a backlog isn't inherently bad. It's great to have options, but it's the way we frame it that messes with our heads. Words matter, and calling it a backlog makes it sound like homework. The literal definition of a backlog is a list of unfinished tasks. Tasks, not hobbies, so no fun. And that's the problem, isn't it? Somewhere along the line, gaming shifted from being something we do for fun to something we feel obligated to complete. Like the moment you buy a game, it's like you've signed an invincible contract to finish it, no matter what. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, decision paralysis. You open your library, scroll through 300 games and end up playing nothing because choosing feels impossible. Psychologists call this the paradox of choice. The more options you have, the harder it is to decide. It's like standing in the cereal aisle, you're just trying to buy breakfast, but suddenly you're faced with 18 different types of Cheerios. Do you want honey nut, apple cinnamon, gluten-free? And now, instead of cereal, you're eating toast. Games are the same in a way. You've got AAA blockbusters, indie darlings, live service games, roguelikes, roguelites, RPGs. How do you even pick? And the worst part, the guilt. Oh, I should play this because I paid for it, or I should finish this because it's a classic. And here's where I had my aha-erlebenis moment. Gaming is supposed to be fun. Revolutionary, right? It's not a job, it's not a to-do list, it's a hobby. And hobbies don't need deadlines or quotas. But to get there, I had to shift my mindset. The first thing I did was ditch the word backlog. It's not a backlog, it's a collection. A collection of experiences waiting to be enjoyed. So this next part might sound harsh, but stay with me. If you look at a game and your immediate reaction is, I guess I should play that, just don't. If it feels like a chore, it's not worth your time. Here's what I did. I went through my entire library and asked myself one simple question. Do I actually want to play this? If the answer was no, it went straight into the not gonna happen pile. And you know what? Only this was liberating in of itself. Take Dark Souls for example. I respect it, I get why people love it, but I also know that I don't have the patience for it, so I gave myself permission to let it go. Let's talk about another huge mental block, the idea that you have to 100% every game. Newsflash, you don't. Rolling credits is enough, or heck, just playing it until you're satisfied is enough. Think about it, do you need to catch every Pokemon to enjoy Pokemon? Do you need to explore every inch of the map in The Witcher 3? No! Sometimes the best memories come from how you play and not how much you play. For me, a game is finished when 1. I've rolled the credits, or 2. I feel like I've seen everything I care to see. There's no guilt and there's no pressure. Once I had this mindset shift, I needed a way to organize my collection that wouldn't stress me out anymore. I created a list with 3 points. 1. Games I will play now. Games I'm actively excited about. 2. Play soon games. Games I want to get to eventually. And 3. Play later. Games I'm curious about but not in a rush to play. This way, I always have a small pool of games to choose from, and I'm never overwhelmed by my full library. And here's a pro tip. Give every game at least 1 hour. It's enough time to get past the tutorial and see if it clicks for you. If you're not having fun after an hour, cut your losses and move on. I learned this the hard way with Metal Gear Solid 5. The first hour? Absolute chaos. Flaming unicorns, a hospital on fire, and Snake crawling through glass. But then the game opens up and suddenly it's one of the best stealth experiences ever. So, we can't talk about backlogs without mentioning subscription services. Game Pass, PlayStation Plus, and others have made gaming more accessible than ever, which is a positive thing, but they've also turned our libraries into an endless buffet. And let's be honest, half of the games on there are ones we'd never have bought otherwise. Here's the trick. Treat subscription games like samples at Costco. You're not obligated to eat the whole thing, just try it, and if it's not your thing, move on. Let's take a moment to appreciate the beauty of replaying old favorites. Mass Effect, Skyrim, Super Mario 64. There's nothing wrong with revisiting comfort games instead of starting something new. Sometimes you're not in a mood to learn a new combat system or memorize another map. And that's okay. Gaming isn't about ticking boxes, it's about enjoying yourself. You don't have to finish your backlog. In fact, you probably never will. And that's okay. Your collection is a reflection of your interests, not a list of assignments. The best thing I ever did for my gaming habits was take a break. No pressure to play, no pressure to create content, just enjoying games for what they are. So, here are my closing thoughts. What can we take away here? Your backlog doesn't have to be a source of stress. Treat it like a treasure trove of experiences, not a to-do list. Give yourself permission to say no, redefine what finished means, and most importantly, have fun with it. And remember, gaming is a hobby, not a job. So go ahead, replay Skyrim for the millionth time. You've earned it. So I really hoped it helped you guys, even if it's one person. So let me know in the comments, did you rethink your backlog? And if you want to see another video, you can watch my video on how to enjoy gaming again. And as always, don't forget to like, share, comment, donate, masturbate.